Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Unscripted. I'm Dawn Mitchell, and joining me is a person that everyone loves here in Minnesota, Seimone Augustus, who has won almost every single accolade and award known to mankind when it comes to basketball. Moni, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, right out of the gate, congratulations on what a year it's been. We were talking before the show started that you should buy a lottery ticket because not only are you in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're also in the Naismith Memorial. You're with everybody in Springfield, Massachusetts. What's it been like for you? Kind of crazy?
Very crazy. It's a Hall of Fame year for me. I had those two, and then I had like a high school one. Like everybody's like, this is your year. So it's been an honor to just like be acknowledged for all the work that you put in from biddy ball all the way through your professional career. You know, it's something that I didn't think about when I was playing, but you know, now that everything's unfolding, it's been a beautiful process.
When you first heard word, which Hall of Fame was it? I think it was the Women's Hall of Fame first. In your mind, you know you're such a competitor, an Olympian, gold medal winner, WNBA champion. You probably knew something was going to roll down the pipe pretty soon, right? But when it finally happened for the first time, what were your thoughts?
And I was like, don't play with me. When I got the phone call, I was like, are you joking? And the lady was like, no, you know, you made it into the Hall of Fame or whatever. And she told me that Maya and Taj was also going in with me. And I was like, that is amazing, not just for me to go in, but then I'm going in with two teammates that basically helped me, you know, with that process of becoming a Hall of Famer. So it was just amazing. I think it was more gratifying for my parents when I took it in for a moment, and then I picked up the phone, called my parents, and that's when it went, you know, crazy. It got ecstatic. They called the family. Everything was just, you know, a glorified moment at that moment.
I think when I first saw the picture of you three going in there, and it was emotional. Did it harken back, obviously bring up all these memories, and how fitting, you know?
It is. I know when I think about like Mama Taj started ball late in life, and she came to us in her latter years of her career, and it meant so much more to her, you know, being a part of that Lynx run and being a part of that. And then Maya, I remember her coming in as a rookie and being a baby and just kind of finding her way, and myself just coming back from injuries and dealing with my early years with the Lynx where we weren't so successful, and seeing us have that run that ultimately led us to be Hall of Fame players and then to be enshrined together was like a moment that you can't even think about. Like it's hard enough for one person to go in, but to have three teammates or three people to go in at the same time from one team is amazing.
You know, earlier when we started the show, I had Cheryl Reeve on, and she said something really cool.
I give Seimone a lot of credit. Teams tampered with Seimone when Maya Moore was going to be coming to the Minnesota Lynx, and they said, you better get out because it's going to be Maya's team. And Seimone looked around, she said, why would I get out now? You know, I spent 5 years here without, you know, other great players. She recognized that she needed this greatness around her.
People were thinking, this is Seimone Augustus. Is there room if Maya Moore comes in? And you thought of it in a totally different way, and it revolutionized the team.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think, I was here where we weren't winning, and when you have an opportunity to bring talent in and be around greatness, why not? You know, that's how you build dynasties. And for me, I was just like, well, I'm tired of getting beat on. I'm tired of getting beat. So let me get a little helping here. And with that, you know, Waylon, Bronson, Taj, Maya, myself, it was almost a super team. I remember the first day of practice, we kind of looked around at each other and we just saw all this amazing talent, and you're like, oh boy, this is going to be an amazing year, or it's going to be a year where everybody's like, oh, they have all this talent that just never panned out to be whatever. But it ended up being everything that we thought it would be, and then and more. And it was all, you know, based on the leadership that Cheryl like gave us. I remember the first conversation we had, you know, she was like, all right, we have a lot of talent coming in. You may have to sacrifice just a little bit of your game or a little bit of yourself. I need you to be more of a vocal leader as well as continue to lead by example. But this is what I need from you in order for us to be successful. And I said, let's do it.
And then we know what happened.
You know what happened next.
And it's like you just knew. You know, people always say that you have to sacrifice the me for the we sometimes, and then it all comes together.
Exactly. For the greater good of the team, You know, just that first run that we had in 2011 was so easy. You know, the selflessness that we had with the way that we played for one another, moved the ball on the defensive side of the ball. I wasn't the best defender, but I felt so confident in my teammates, and I can trust that their abilities was going to help alleviate any flaws that I had on that end of the ball. It just made everyone feel more confident in themselves and what they can do, because for every strength that I had, someone else that was helping someone else's weakness, and for every weakness I had, someone else had a strength that kind of complemented my weakness, and we just kind of honestly enjoyed that process.
Could you tell at that point, because there'd be some personnel changes later, but there was a dynasty that started. Did you know that you had the makings to just repeat and just build on that?
Not initially, but once we got, I want to say about halfway through, maybe All-Star break of the 11th season, like we knew it was different, and everyone else in the league knew it was different. I remember going to that All-Star game, I believe it was in San Antonio, and people were kind of like, yeah, the Lynx are doing pretty good this year. And you know, a couple of players was like, yeah, they always start good, and then next thing you know, they go on this like historical losing streak or so on. And so some of the players was like, no, I think this might be their year. And we looked at each other, like for the All-Stars that were on the team, we was like, yeah, this is a different year.
Yeah,
we
don't
like,
jinx us.
This is a different year. And from there, it was just like, no looking back. And then once we completed the journey of winning a championship, you know, it's obviously the bullseyes on your back. We kind of got by that first year without having anyone watching us. They just kind of took us for granted. And then the next year was when our character really was built, like our resolve, like, what are you going to do with this? Because now everybody's gunning for you. And I think that's when we realized like how strong of a team we were.
Do you often look back on those days, or have you not yet? Like, about, wow, like,
I know.
You know, what you guys did together.
I do. Now I do have time to look back. That's what's funny. When you're in it and you're playing, you never really have. It's like on to the next. That's the next play, the next whatever. And that's how it was when we were winning championships. We enjoyed it when we had the parade and rah, rah, rah. And then it was what's next. And now that you have time to just kind of sit back, being at LSU, a lot of the girls, I'm trying to teach them certain things, and they're like, well, we don't know how to do it. You're going to have to show us some video of you doing it. And I was like, oh, say less. So now, you know, I break down video and I'm showing them me coming off of pin downs or certain situations. And they're like, oh, okay, you were pretty good back in the day. I was like, no, we were pretty good. Our team had, you know, this genetic makeup that was just, you know, amazing how we played off of each other.
Well, that leads me to another congratulations. Now an assistant coach at LSU, your alma mater, kind of completing the full circle and starting to have these young minds, you know. It makes you feel old when they go, oh, you were good back in the day, but you're not. And now you get to teach them exactly what got you to where you are.
I know, you know, being on a pro level for so long, you just assume that you'll be on this level. But thankfully, I got a call from Coach Mulkey about May or June, and she had a staff member that retired, and she was like, I would love for you to be a part of my staff. And I was like, okay. So we had a few conversations over the next, 3 weeks or so, and I decided that, it was the best thing for me to do, coming back home, being with my family, just enjoying that opportunity. But also, like you said, on a collegiate level, now you're shaping and molding minds to prepare them for the next level. Like, they are hungry, they're thirsty to be here. And so me with 15 years of pro experience, international experience, I'm like, well, this is the perfect place for me to be able to help young ladies, accomplish their dreams and goals, not just on a collegiate level, but on the next level as well.
Do you think, and I know you're just starting, but this could be a career path, like you see Dawn Staley, a lot of former WNBA players now getting into coaching, and which I think only strengthens the game.
I believe so too. It's funny, I did an interview just yesterday, and one of the reporters was like, well, all great players don't always be great coaches. And I was like, it's a lie. Dawn Staley, Becky Hammond, Kim Mulkey, we can just continue to go on with so many great coaches that are not, great players that are now great coaches and have won and succeeded on this level. And that's something that I hope to do and be at the level that I'm at, even though I'm in the infancy stages. Right now, I'm observing, I'm learning from the greats, I'm learning from Coach Mulkey every day, and hopefully I can be one of those people that creates an empire as big as a UConn or Tennessee that, feeds players to this league, that continues to grow this league to new levels and new heights.
I just in my mind when you were talking, you see some of these GIFs or GIFs, however you want to say it, of, walking in like this, right? And they always have the sunglasses on, and I'm like, well, because now you're in the Naismith Hall of Fame, Women's Hall of Fame, Olympic gold, WNBA. So when you walk in there, your resume speaks for yourself, but these young kids have to learn it. You know, you're walking in like, you're learning from the best.
I know. Every time, like, when they see this, they're going to be like, oh, you was somewhere else? What was that? I'm like, oh, jersey retirement. This ain't like, oh, coaches at another event. But it's amazing because they didn't, like you say, they start to study and learn. Some of them already knew who I was. They were homegrown from Louisiana, and then others are like learning through the process of who I am and what I've done, and they all are like in awe of the situation. They're like, oh, okay, well, Money actually might know what she's talking about. I was like, I've been around the block a few times, and so just to see them kind of gravitate towards me and want to, you know, learn, want to grow, it fills me up. Like, everybody's looking for their purpose, and I think this is my purpose.
And you're so calm and cool about it too, you know, like you know, leave it on the court, but also be calm and cool after, or whoever you are after, like, because you're dealing with young women that are also. My brother coached both men and women in various different sports, and he's like, women tell you everything. Mm-hmm. Like the young women, like you're hearing it all. Like you're hearing about the family, who they're dating, like, so you're getting it all, right?
Which is a good thing, because, you know, like as a coach, you have to deal with the emotions, you have to deal with personalities, you have to deal with a number of different things to try to get them to be the best that they can be on any given day. And so knowing what you're going through that day, how you're feeling, you know, was class okay, your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, like you need to know those things so then you can get the best out of them at practice to make sure they're surely focused. And girls are more vulnerable in that sense, where they do give more of themselves in an emotional, you know, standpoint, as opposed to maybe males. But they also work extremely hard. Like, as you know, you're a woman, I'm a woman. Mm-hmm. We're tough as nails. And that's the part that I really admire the most about them. Like, anything I ask them to do, they do it without question, and they do it, you know, as hard as they possibly can with the purpose of getting better that day.
How was it for you when you got the second call to the Naismith, joining Lindsay Whalen as the only two Lynx members in that Hall of Fame?
I didn't even have words. I was excited, yes, but I was just like, right now I still don't have words.
I got chills when just said.
I know, and I was like, when it happened, I thought about like just the year before, I was at Whalen's enshrinement, and I'm just sitting there like a proud teammate watching her give her speech, and I'm just so happy, not even envisioning myself there a year later. And here I am. I mean, I remember going to the Naismith. I played in Elks Hoopshoe competition, which was a free throw competition, and the Nationals was always in Boston, Massachusetts, and a part of that, they would let you go to the Naismith Hall of Fame and tour it and see, and I would always put my hand in the ball and, you know, like, wow, these guys' hands are huge, you know, but never envisioning myself. And I always say, like, the universe or the divine God, whatever you want to call your higher being or higher self, always push you in a place. Like, that was a glimpse of my future that I did not know. And, you know, it's just a beautiful full circle moment to be able to be a part of the Naismith.
And you're getting your creative juices going for that, right?
Try to be a little bit of a poet. I've sat down now on a number of Hall of Fame speeches, and everybody's kind of the same. You thank everybody. You talk about how you grew up, basketball, your coaches you love. And so, you know, hopefully for the last one, I can be a little bit creative and be a little bit different. Maybe. It might work out, it may not, but at least I gave it a try.
Do you think it'll be emotional?
It will be. It will be, for various reasons. The people that'll be there supporting, obviously, my mom and dad. Like, when I look out every Hall of Fame that I've done so far, I look out at them and I just remember little things like, you know, my dad having to sacrifice not being at certain camps or coming to certain games because he had to go make the money. So my mom would come with me, you know, seeing my mom, you know, knowing the games that she went to. A number of times I was the only girl on certain teams, so she's like fending for her daughter, like, you know, I'm better than all the boys, so their parents are mad, and she's just like, yeah, that's my baby. You know, you have a lot of different images or visions that come back to your mind of, you know, your bitty ball journey all the way through your professional career with your parents and the sacrifices they made.
So it's only fitting then that you're hanging with the guys in Way then in Springfield, right?
Yeah, it's only fitting because they groomed me. Like a good bit of my basketball career was played against guys. They didn't have, you know, a girls team when I grew up. I didn't play girls basketball until I was like 14, maybe 13, 14 years old. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're still young.
I know. Turned 40 this year.
Turned 40 this year.
Turned 40 this year.
And it's like, we got to find another stone for you to overturn. now you got to get the NCAA championship, right?
Look at that, pressure's on
There
right
you go.
away. Yes.
It's just going to come. No pressure, no pressure. What I really love, though, is, and you mentioned it earlier, is the relationships, you know, with Waylon, with Maya, with Mama Taj, with Becky Brunson. These are still like your sisters. It's a sisterhood still. You're in town for Maya. How you all support and show up for each other even now, that's incredible for me to witness. How is it to be part of?
I laughed. Diamond Miller asked me this morning, I went to shoot around, and she was like, "Are you excited to see your teammates?" I was like, "No, I've seen them for 15 years. And she just kind of laughed, and I was like, "No, it's always fun, especially now. You know, we've retired from ball. We don't get to see each other as much. So whenever any events or occasions come where we can see each other, and yes, we're going to be here. And it's crazy how life is and growth happens so fast. It's like, you know, now Maya has a family, and Waylon's like a pickleball star, and like so much stuff is going on. BB is leading the team. You know." I mean, so many things have happened that you're just like catching up with them, and it feels good to be around them and then just share our old stories. We always laugh about locker room stories that we had and things that we did on road trips, food that we ate, you know, different slogans that we came up with that created the Lynx song that we like. It's so many different moments that we just look back now on and we laugh, but we still also cherish.
What I really like too is you're at the forefront of social change, not only here in Minnesota, but for the whole league, right?
Yeah, and that's tough. When most of your career you're taught to shut up and dribble, and we didn't shut up for once in our career, and it was probably the most pivotal movement in women's basketball history for us. I don't think before us standing up for any type of injustices it happened before that, but after you've seen the voice that we've had both, you know, before that in the bubble was amazing, you know, to see the different conversations that we had. We actually had all 144 players together and was able to come up with different game plans on how we wanted to move forward with our voice as the W, and just to see how these young ladies are now carrying that torch and using their platforms that are now bigger than ever to help people that walk from all walks of life has just been amazing to see.
You know, when you see the Vikings and formed a social justice committee, other sports did it. We heard the whole Colin Kaepernick, you know, and how the country's grown from that. You guys started it here in Minnesota.
Yeah, you never think about, like, you just brought that up. I'm like, wow, we did. I mean, before that, not even the men, like you said, NFL, NBA, you know, they had a few instances, you know, where the Clippers had the Donald Sterling situation and stuff like that. But, you know, really being extremely vocal, standing up and, you know, dealing with whatever consequences came with their actions, we were at the forefront of that. And I think everyone at that point really understood, like, the WNBA and its players have always stood with the people because we actually live the same life you live. You know, we don't have multi-million-dollar contracts. You know, we live a great life, but we are also American citizens that have to navigate the world the same as you. And so we want to feel as safe and as comfortable as any other citizen. And so we, you know, obviously want to speak up on those issues so that we can continue to create a peaceful environment for us all.
So how proud were you of Maya as well on that?
Oh, always. You know, Maya's very private. And so when we saw, you know, the things that she was doing when it came to the criminal reform and everything, it was shocking, but it was also like, all right, you know, this is something that's new for her, and she's passionate about it. She was as passionate about it as she was with basketball. And to see, you know, the efforts that she made that ultimately ended up with her husband being released from jail and others, it was amazing to see because before then, like I said, it was really hard for people to even be able to express themselves in that way.
You know, when you look back, is it you can't quantify or even pick whether it's an Olympic gold or if it's a WNBA. How do you look at each of those? Is it just like a different segment of your life, or is there one of these things that kind of stands out? Maybe personal would be Naismith in the Women's Hall of Fame. You know, country-wise, maybe. How do you put them in categories?
I think it's like a movie or a play. It's like different acts. So I guess for me, the first would have been like the international team. That was the first goal that I had from a little girl, with the poster being on my wall, because the W wasn't around till '97. So when I started playing ball, it didn't exist. So that was the first act for me, trying to make that team. And that was actually the first team that I didn't make, got cut from. So you had to deal with the feeling of failure and coming back and trying to, you know, make this team. And then finally making that team as one of the youngest members in '08. It was kind of like a relief, like you finally arrived. Yeah, you figured something out, you finally arrived as a player. And from there, Act 2, WNBA. All right, what do you want your career to be? And I spoke to the ladies this morning. I remember Cheryl, I don't even know if she remembers, she came in and she gave a speech and she was like, what do you want your legacy to be? And that resonated with me. Wow. And from that day forward, I'm like, well, what do I want my legacy to be? I do want to be remembered, but how do you want to be remembered? And I think that set the stage for the run that we had with the Lynx. Everything else is Act 3, you know, where you're focusing on, that's not really in your hands. It's your body of work that then determines whether you're acknowledged in the Hall of Fame and, you know, put in the rafters and everything else. So Act 1 and 2 was monumental in creating the Act 3.
But it's nice to know that even though you check those off for yourself, that you have the rafters, right? You are there forever. You are in the halls, high school, you know, college, you know, all of them. That it's, yes, it's great to check them off for you, but to be seen as that level.
Yeah.
You've got to at least appreciate and give yourself some props on that, right?
Oh yeah, of course, without a doubt. I mean, I'm just not a person that walks around with my chest out, but you know,
you could, just like that meme.
I could, exactly, but I don't. I just kind of take it in, and I don't know. I'm just not a person that's outwardly emotional about stuff, but I do. I really do think I'm like, my knees didn't go to waste. You know, all the stuff that I went through with injuries, like it didn't go to waste. Like I gave everything to the game. And what's funny is now that I'm retired, so many people are like, you still play ball? Is something still in it? And I'm like, no, I gave everything I had. Like I don't even have a drop left, I said. And so that more than anything, you know, makes me feel good about what's happening now, is because I didn't leave anything for chance. I gave it my all and it paid off.
It certainly did. What is maybe a dream away from the court that you now want to fulfill? If you can share, some people like to do it first, but if you'd like to share.
Yeah, I'm going to do it first person.
Yeah.
I'm with the rest. Because you don't want to kind of jinx yourself by putting it out there and then it doesn't happen and people are like, you said you didn't. You said you was going to do it. So I'm going to just do it, and then we'll have another unscripted sit down about what I did.
Say, like, remember that thing you're asking me about? Done.
Exactly.
Well, next up is enjoying this weekend, enjoying your old teammates that you're forever linked with.
Yes, ma'am.
We joke around, got to get Rebecca Brunson into the Women's Hall of Fame next, right? To join the rest of you.
We do.
Like you said, it's out of all of your hands, but I'm just so proud of not only everything that you've accomplished as a person and as a teammate, but just as a person that I've known since you got here. You've always been tremendous to me, but you're also just a good person.
Thank you.
I think good things come to good people.
Well, thank you. I would hope. It has. No complaints. And I just want to say thank you for being who you are. And I know I've been seeing your face around for 15 years. You've been covering us when maybe other people weren't. You were one of those loyal fans that I talk about, like people that always supported us throughout our journey and covered us really well and gave us the flowers and the respect that we deserve. So thank you as well.
Well, look how it's turning out now, right? Caitlin Clark, loving Maya and the Lynx and bringing the game into the next generation. It's
Exactly.
You've worked hard, and it's great to see, like, if you're going to pass the torch, that is getting bright.
It's brighter than ever,
Yeah.
and we're thankful for that. You know, you always think about blazing a trail, and then what happens in, you know, you always worry about what's next, and we have no worries in the world about what's next because we're seeing the league, the players taking everything to another level, a level that we couldn't even imagine. So I'm thankful for that.
Well, thank you. I know you're not this kind of a person, but I am so glad that your name is being broadcast from the rooftops in every single way and every single Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you deserve it. You're the best.